Hello everybody! Today's video delves into the world of dynamic hands. But what exactly do I mean by dynamic? Well, I'm referring to the artistry of creating hands that exude energy and movement, while also advocating for use of simulation or dynamics to enhance computer-generated hands. Hands play a critical role in conveying mood and emotions, but replicating them poses a unique challenge due to a large amount of bones and soft tissues confined within a compact space, whose shape is defined mostly by how tissues collide with each other. When a finger touches the palm, we expect the palm and finger to compress and retain volume just like typical soft tissues. What if you could implement a setup using a muscle solver like Ziva that would not only replicate the natural properties of a hand, but save the entire production many man-hours of animation time? That would certainly make everyone from animators to producers happy. Well, I put together a setup for a short film that does exactly that. Let's take a look at what it can do. First, let's look at a simple test where I'm dynamically posing a hand, allowing the fingers to interact realistically with flesh-like properties. My primary goal in this test was to create a series of intricate hand poses and have the simulation achieve the desired shapes. Next, I wanted to evaluate how the setup performs at speed that mimics something I might animate for an actual shot. I wanted to demonstrate its resilience under the rigors of animation. In this rendering, you can see tendons pushing outward as the hand changes poses. Dynamic veins stretch and move beneath the skin, and I've implemented subtle blood flow and dynamic wrinkles on the knuckles. Beyond aesthetics, you might wonder, how does this save time during animation? Animating these intricate bones, especially considering the metacarpal deformation of the palm, can be quite a laborious task. Simple actions like object rolling around the hand often necessitates painstaking frame-by-frame tracking of bone deformations. The man-hours consumed by animating hands can be staggering, especially when the acting evolves through the filmmaking process. Therefore, the goal of this setup is to leverage simulation to alleviate one of the most time-consuming aspects of animation. Let's take a look at a sample of this in action. Here's a bit of animation of a hand grabbing a wrench. As you can see, I've labored over this meticulous animation. Looks unusable, right? Let's send it to the farm and see what we get back. Hey, that looks significantly better. Looks like I took a bit of time to animate that, right? How about I give you a peek behind the scenes into how I implemented this? The basic idea is to envision dynamic rubber bands pulling the fingers towards your desired hand pose. If a finger collides with an object, it stops. You animate the grip accordingly and compress the hand past where it should be. I employ a two-phase simulation. Here you can see an example of the first phase, a stiffer, less fleshy simulation to establish a general collision point and bone rotations, and a second, more pliable simulation to compress the flesh against the collision object. Here's another example to showcase this approach in action. Look at that beautiful input animation. Wow, it's breathtaking. Let's send it to the farm. Well, that looks far more dynamic than a traditional CG hand. Showcased here is an animation control I've introduced into the rig, which lets the animator fade off attachments to the input and pulls the finger towards the palm. This keeps the grip tight, even if the object it's interacting with isn't penetrated by the input finger. The next test highlights another animation control I've added. Look at that wonderful input animation. The additional control I've implemented allows the animator to guide the hand into a landing pose and then locks the fingertips in place, anchoring the hand. Let's observe the results. Now, the fingers securely rest on the surface while the input animation pulls the wrist around, deforming the hand naturally. I hope you can see my implementation as proof of concept, demonstrating how a character effects setup like this can not only produce nice looking CG hands, but also significantly expedite the animation process in filmmaking. Thanks for watching.